good, YouTube? It's Marco! Bam! Back with another video, man. Thank you, Jesus, for allowing us to be here another day. We are back, baby. We are back. Week 16, hockey psychology. You already know what time it is. Yeah, this right here made me feel good, man. It should be up on the channel now. Just watched the video with the Oilers and the Capitals. Great game. If you haven't seen that one, go check that one out. I'm sure it will pop up right here. But before we get into the video, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn those post notifications on. Let's get into it.
Week 16 of the NHL season has completely gone off the rails. We saw a goalie fight for the first time in 6 years.
6 years? This by the time you watch this should be up on the channel. Holy moly, I did not know it was the first one in 6 years. Wow.
Back home and got a standing ovation while another superstar came back to a hostile environment. A missed empty netter sparked one of the crazier endings we've seen this season, all while we had back and forth wild barn burner games surrounding it, and all around the league the tensions are rising. Week 16 got out of hand and it was awesome to watch, so let's cover everything that happened in this week of hockey. Let's kick off the week with potentially the new best team in the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are 11-0-1 in their last 12 games, and they beat the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are 11-0-1 in their last 12 games, and they make it 12-0-1 with a 4-1 win over the Stars, who have been mid themselves lately. They are 2-6-4 in their last 12 games, and I feel like in order to keep up with the Wild and Avs in their division, these guys are going to go big game hunting at the deadline to shake some things up. Now, after allowing 6 goals on 19 shots and then proceeding to get called out by his own defenseman, Jake Sanderson, to make a damn save, there's a lot of heat on Levi Merolainen in the Sens crease. All season long, goaltending has...
I gotta give it to hockey, bro. I really do. And I'm gonna tell you the one thing that I really love about this sport is the pure, absolute raw realness of these players and coaches, to where, bro, like, they'll get there and they'll say like, bro, you don't see this in other sports. Like it sucks, and like sometimes you can kind of tell, like, these players, like, they may not like play with each other, but they're playing with each other to try to get the win. In hockey, they're like, bro, our goalie got to save more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we doing, you know, because, and the thing is, because even though he does say that, it's also for them to help the goalie. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, the goalie definitely can't let everything go past him, but you got to do a great job of trying to deflect and, how do I say it? Redirect players to where this puck, to where he doesn't have to make 30, 40 saves again. You know what I'm saying?
Essentially canceled out their very solid 5-on-5 play up front, as they are firmly in the basement of team save percentage. So it's time to go to the 4th string goalie. Leaf legend James Reimer comes back from the dead, only to get scored on by his former teammate JVR in the potential SeatGeek goal of the week. Here he goes, but
Ooh, what a nasty goal that was.
Between the legs, in tight, how are you upstairs? Despite that, Reimer actually did a decent job stopping 30 of 34 shots, but it's still no bueno. Alex DeBrincat gets the OT winner, and the Red Wings win 4-3. The Sens season at this point seems pretty much over. Then to end Sunday, it's a shit kick, and the Oilers are out here making magic. The Nuge is in his 1,000th game. He buries to open the scoring, because why not? And then McDavid puts a bid in for his play of the week. Guy's falling down on one knee, controls the puck into a spinorama pass right to Podkolzin for the tap-in. There's a reason why they call him McJesus. 5-0 win for Edmonton, and they did it all without Draisaitl.
5-0.
Now on to Monday, and holy was the league absolutely cooking on this day. We started off with Carolina and Buffalo. The Sabres are going to be having nightmares of Brandon Bussi. Look at this 2-on-0. Thompson to Zucker, back to Thompson, and Bussi out of nowhere with the glove. Are you kidding me? that may be the SeatGeek play of the week right there. You can't trust these right-handed catching goalies. They're aliens. They're super weird, and they're unpredictable. And the best part was that he wasn't done there. 9 seconds, he goes toe-to-toe with Thompson again and stones him. Guy was out here breakdancing in the crease, stopping absolutely everything. The Bussy carried Carolina to a 2-1 win, and in the process makes NHL history. He's the first goalie to win 18 of his first 22 games in the NHL.
Wow.
He was a waiver pickup at the beginning of the year. He was undrafted. Unbelievable story. The Hurricanes may have found their guy in the crease. Then we move on to the Nate Dogg, and he is sick of the Avs version of losing. They're 2-3-1 in their last 6 games, and he comes out galloping like the horse he is. 2 goals, gets his 1100th point in the NHL. Avs get back
1100th point, damn.
5-2 dub. That Caps loss is good for Pittsburgh, who keeps on rolling as well. They stay comfy in the 3rd Metro spot with a win over Seattle. Sid gets another 2 points. We deserve to see him get one more run here in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
We go to Florida. The Sharks are in town. Matthew Tkachuk is back in the lineup for the first time. You know that means we're going to see fireworks.
Dude, I saw that at the end of a video, and I was...
right away, him and Desharnais are going at it. He absolutely levels Tkachuk. Everyone loves seeing that. And because Desharnais did that, he's already on the shit list for Florida, and that's important because the Sharks are up 3-0 going into the 3rd. And watch this. In the 3rd period, Desharnais trips up a guy, plays his whistle down for a penalty, but in comes Evan Rodriguez with the greasy hit from behind, decks him completely. That is war, baby. Everyone grab.
Now, that was something that I didn't know about this goalie fight. If you haven't seen this, there's about to be a goalie fight between Bobrovsky and this guy right here.
There's a guy, Nedeljkovic, the Sharks goalie, sees that and goes straight into the fire. He's not having any of it. That prompts Officer Bobrovsky to skate 200 feet, and here we go. He tosses the gloves. We're finally going to see it, aren't we? The Stripes do the right thing and let the boys go. We got a goalie fight. Holy, this is electric. Both Nedeljkovic and Bobrovsky are throwing absolute pillows, types of punches you throw in your dream, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that they're throwing them. Down goes Bobby, and everyone is absolutely losing it in the arena. The crowd is on their feet. The Sharks bench is fired up. It's the first goalie fight in 6 years, and it made a 4-1 game the most talked about game of the entire night. That is why we keep fighting in the game and should let tendies drop them way more often if they want to go. Just saying. The Sharks end up taking this game 4-1 and get a very important 2 points. Now, from the rowdy crowd of Florida, we go to the Scotiabank Library. Kids, you got to be quiet when watching the Leafs, especially when the team is lulling their fans to sleep. The Wild come in and teach them a lesson. Marcus Foligno gets a hat trick. With that Wild win, they move past the Dallas Stars to finally get home ice advantage in a potential first-round matchup between them and the Stars. It seems like that matchup has been a lock since November, so the Wild finally get the upper hand there. And we have a couple teams going in complete opposite direction in the Flyers and Golden Knights. Philly, 6-game losing streak. Vegas, 7-game win streak. All of it comes to an end tonight with Sammy Earson locking in to stop 24 of 25 shots.
Earson. I had pronounced his name as Urson in the video that reaction.
Spot all year long, but that last stretch may have buried them. Then get ready for the waterworks. Here's my childhood right here. Jonathan Toews returns back to Chicago for his first time ever playing against the Blackhawks, and the United Center gives him a standing ovation for the ages. 3 Stanley Cups, one of the best all-around players and captain of his generation. They give him the respect he deserves, and god damn it, we're getting old. The future, though, is here in Chicago. Spencer Knight gets the 2-0 shutout. Connor Bedard scores the nicest empty netter you'll ever see. Sick Puppy goes 2 posting in before capping off an emotional night in Chicago.
Oh, Bedard is back, too.
We also got to tip our cap to the
Was he back last week?
Today between the Flames and Devils. Flames already selling the farm, trading Rasmus Anderson to Vegas. The tank has commenced, and it's reinforced with a nice loss to New Jersey in OT. Perfect. That being said, it's going to be hard to out-tank Vancouver, though. They said, all right, we already traded away Quinn Hughes to suck. Now it's time to trade away Kiefer Sherwood. That's how you tank, baby. Islanders take full advantage and beat them 4-3. And then finally, in the East, competing with all those disasters in the West are the Rangers. I wonder how many more letters we're going to get this year from management, because they got the Ducks, who are starting to find their groove a little bit after losing 9 in a row. They put up 5 on New York to win their 4th straight game to end a chaotic Monday night of hockey. I mean, how many times do you get to see a goalie fight? That is just a beautiful thing about hockey and seeing it live because there's nothing more electric
Oh,
than
is
this
this a
sport in person.
SeatGeek
And
ad?
SeatGeek is the #1 rated
Ooh,
ticketing app
yo,
these.
my boy, hockey psychology. That was smooth. That was smooth. You can't get me because I got a premium. You know what I'm saying? But that was smooth. That was smooth.
Recaps. So on
I
to
like
Tuesday,
that.
the Stripes were on something
I
tonight.
damn
Take a
near
look
with the
at this. Puck
SeatGeek is
goes out
about
of
a
play, and
random
look at
ticket for
Tampa's
you.
assistant coach turn into Odell Beckham Jr. here, just snags this puppy out of the air. That ends up being a delay of game. Never seen that before. Luckily, Tampa is an unstoppable force right now. Hagel gets 2 tucks on the night. Tampa makes neat work of San Jose, and they've now won 13 of their last 14 games. Now, the ref show didn't stop there. Watch this tripping call or apparent tripping call on Lane Hudson. He's right over here. He's not even touching this Wild player. He just falls down, and they call Hudson for the trip. I think Stevie Wonder probably could have made a better call there, but that didn't stop the Habs from doing what they've been doing all year long. They get cooking. Them and the Wild are in a
This was a good
joint
game.
one in a 3-3 game with 15 seconds left. But Cole Caulfield, the twine tickler, goes upstairs to steal a pity point from Minnesota. Caulfield has been the most clutch shooter this season with countless game-winning goals.
To this too.
I'm sure Team USA doesn't need any of that. Now, as we've known, goaltending issues have been a story surrounding Ottawa all season, but that's why they brought in Optimus Rhyme. Leaf fans are in the darkest timeline watching this guy help the Sens get 2 points against Columbus. Meanwhile, Boston comes into Dallas on a 6-game winning streak, allowing just 7 goals in that span, but this team is schizophrenic. Dallas puts up 6 against them, including this absolute snipe from the RoboCop. Can barely fit a grain of sand through that hole, but he shaves the ear hair off of Swayman. I'm sure Team USA also needs none of that either. On the other hand, Boston is looking over their shoulders for Buffalo. The Sabres have a new kid to be excited about, and that's their first-round pick from 2024 in Konsta Helenius. In only his second game, he has a 3-point period. Sabres almost blew a 3-goal lead in this one, a little tribute to the Bills, but they end up holding on for the win by beating Nashville 5-3. Now, the Jets and Blues are our toilet bowl game for the night. A couple months ago, this was a first-round matchup in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now we're here. Life comes at you fast. Jets win 3-1 to become the most recent toilet bowl champ. Up next are the Devils and Oilers, and here's how you defend the face of the league right here. McDavid gets hit up high and pulls and doesn't miss a beat. Drops the face of the league right here. McDavid gets hit up.
That dude went barely in the frame.
Up high in pod, Colson doesn't miss a beat, drops him right away. That earns him a couple free beers after the game. However, Jake Allen becomes a wall, only allowing 1 goal to help New Jersey get the win. Here is a crazy stat about the Oilers. They're the only team in the NHL right now who has not won more than 2 games in a row. That is absolutely wild considering that they are in a playoff spot. Finally, we have the Rangers. Absolutely.
I want to see that. Hold on. Okay, this is the Pacific. The Sharks are 25, 21, and 3. 60, 58, 53. Oh, this is a 3-way tie right here. Right? In points. Yo, that's free. Yo, that's weird. That is so weird. The Ducks and the Sharks having the exact same record is so weird. Oh, it's so weird. Okay, cool.
Considering that they are in a playoff spot. Finally, we have the Rangers versus the Kings, and aside from the Rangers tank job, there was another injury to an Olympian. Darcy Kemper, Canada's potential backup goalie or maybe even starting goalie, had to leave the game after this save. At this rate, it seems like all the snubs from the Canada roster are going to end up playing for Canada anyways with all these injuries. Forsberg had to come in for the Kings in relief and hold down the fort in a 4-3 win for LA to end Tuesday night. So to Wednesday we go, Leafs versus Red Wings. This one was a goalie battle all the way through.
Okay, good.
In an Atlantic Division matchup, you had to know this one was going to OT no matter what. Here's a lesson for the rookie here, Easton Cowan. He holds on to the puck a second too long, and Mo Seider just bullies him right off of the barrel. Says, give me that. Feeds Dylan Larkin for the game winner and then proceeds to truck McCabe after all of it. Statement shift from the Mo Sheen himself. Red Wings sweep the Leafs in the season series 4-0, and Mo Seider is having himself a Norris-like year, which has had Detroit finally looking like they are putting things together.
Check out Detroit. Check out them boys out there in Detroit. Check them out, man.
together. Now, let's go to the Ducks and Avs. Anaheim started the season off hot. Everyone bought their stock. They then lost 9 in a row, and then everyone proceeded to sell all their shares. But a hot goalie can do you wonders. Lucas Dostal is dialing in once again. Here he stops 40 of 41 against Colorado. Philly's beloved hero, Cutter Gauthier, steps in and calls game in the shootout for the Ducks. Avs are showing that they do bleed here. They've lost 5 of their last 8 games. Now, speaking of Philly, all-time pooch job for them in this game against Utah. Up by 1 in the final minute.
Is crazy.
Goalie is pulled. All Garnet Hathaway has to do here is take a page from Happy Gilmore here. All he's got to do is just tap it in. Simple. He thinks he's got way more time than he actually has, and Nick Schmaltz stick lifts his soul, takes away the puck, and Clayton Keller comes back the other way and ties it. There you go. No more sleep for Hathaway for the rest of the year, especially because Utah and Keller wasn't done there. He buries the OT winner, tosses the stick in the crowd, says,
beautiful.
Keep it.
We reacted to that whole
back,
game too.
and Utah wins a wild one. That Hathaway empty net might be right up there with Patrick Stefan in 2006.
Yeah, I just thought about why didn't you shoot it?
Handled their business with Pittsburgh beating Calgary and the Islanders winning in Seattle, but the puzzling season for the Capitals continues. They are in Vancouver, who is in their worst stretch in franchise history here.
Oh. Ooh. I'm not going to do it to Canucks fans.
With an 11-game losing streak. Tank job is fully on. The Caps are also fighting to get back into a playoff position.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Yo, this is so crazy. Because you would have think, like, the Leafs aren't having as good as a season as they would like to have. They started off rough. Sabres just absolutely went crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bruins, look at them. Still in that wild card. Only a 2-point lead, but hey, it's only a 3-point difference between third place and first place. It's only 5 between fourth and fifth. So, I mean, yeah, this right here is going to be an interesting shaker right here.
They had a 2-0 lead, but they let the Brock star, Brock Besser, just have his way. He gets a goal and an assist, helps him spark the comeback for Vancouver, and Washington blows a gimme game and 2 points to one of the worst teams in the league. That's one of those games that you look back on at the end of the season with pure dread if you miss the dance. So let's begin Thursday with the only game that's not an East versus West matchup. Montreal versus Buffalo. Montreal has been hot as of late, but Buffalo has been hotter. UPL same-day delivery has himself a game in this one. 32 saves on 34 shots. We did a breakdown on the Sabres game this past week, and a big reason why they actually look like a team this year is because they're getting some good goaltending. Funny how that works, eh? They win 4-2 and are now just 2 points back of Montreal for the third spot in the Atlantic. On to Carolina we go. The Blackhawks are in town, and tell me this isn't one of the craziest ways to celebrate your 21st birthday. Oliver Moore can legally have a beer now in the States and decided he wants to be the ultimate team guy instead and drops the gloves with Nikishin after he rocked his teammate. Here's why you got to read the game notes, though, because Nikishin has done this once or twice in the KHL. He starts feeding Moore so many rights that he's practically begging for a left as a birthday present. Kid was smiling, bleeding from his face on the way out. He's having a blast out there, and why not?
He got drunk. I know for a fact he got drunk as shit after. I know for a fact. But he talking about he started feeding him so many rights. He's begging for a left.
In the KHL, he starts feeding Moore so many rights that he's practically begging for a left as a birthday present. Kid was smiling, bleeding from his face on the way out. He's having a blast out there, and why not? Here's the best part of this game is that it goes to a shootout, and who do you think they call in the 6th round? It's the birthday boy, Oliver Moore, eating punches and getting the game winner. What a night for him as the Blackhawks get 2 points. Now, there wasn't a whole lot going on between Dallas and Columbus, but what you got to know is that Zach Werenski may indeed be the Norris Trophy frontrunner. He is absolutely carrying the Blue Jackets right now back to relevancy. He gets the only goal in this game in a 1-0 win over Dallas, and he almost played half the damn game too. Also, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys to pick up Steven Stamkos in your fantasy leagues. And if you listened, you look like a damn genius today. The Unk has still got it. The Preds are down 3-0 to Ottawa, but these are the Senators. Stamkos turns back the clock and gets not one, not two, but 3 goals for the hat trick, with the last one being the game winner to boot with only a minute left. The Preds win 5-3, and one quick stat about Stamkos is that he now leads the league with 8 game-winning goals. It gets worse for Ottawa, too, because the Panthers won again just to make the East even more of a shit show. They beat the Jets, and that was followed up by an absolute barrage from the Bruins right out of the gate against Vegas. They scored 3 times in 54 seconds against the Knights. In the first
times in 54
you got Zadorov
seconds.
turning into prime Bobby Orr, just flicks Hurdle off like a fly, and then sets up Pasta to go up 4-0. Boston almost blew a 4-0 lead though, but they hang on to win 4-3 to get a big 2 points. Meanwhile, a sneaky storyline right now are the Pittsburgh Penguins. This team has been red hot as of late, and we can't even be shocked that Sid the middle-aged man is still doing it. Look at this tip, just surgical from the top of the slot. He's tipping long stockings this week. Just a geometry maestro with that kind of deflection. The man gets better with age. The Penguins are getting sweet revenge on Shanghai Jari as well. 3 goals on 4 shots. This game was over before it even started. Penguins win big 6-2 for their 3rd win in a row. Finally, we have the Red Wings versus the Wild, and we see firsthand Minnesota's big guns take over. Quinn Hughes, 3 assists on the night. That is 43 on the season for him. He's tied for the most among all defensemen in that category. And not only do you got to worry about containing him, but you also got to contain the Carillionaire himself. Kirill Kaprizov, 17 million sheets a year means you come in and do something like this in OT. Steps right up, goes top glove for his 2nd of the game, and that is all she wrote to end Thursday. Now, Friday night starts with an emotional return in Toronto. We get part 2 of the Marner Bowl. There was a lot of noise going into the game. Everyone's wondering what the crowd reaction is going to be. Marner came into the pregame saying he doesn't want to focus on the past, saying it's just another game. Meanwhile, Coach Craig Berube looks like he just went 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. There's a lot going on pregame, including this from Keegan Colasar. They're stepping on the ice for the warm-up, and Colasar swipes down a jersey while running out of the tunnel. The jersey apparently said "sellout" on the back. Didn't want his teammate Marner seeing that. Marner steps on the ice and is showered with boos from the crowd every time he touched the puck. Leaf fans were just giving it to him. But shocker, the Leafs are asleep at the wheel to start this game. Vegas scores 2 quick ones, and then Mitch Marner gets his tribute video where the fans actually give him a little bit of an ovation. That's probably the loudest the Scotiabank Library will be all year long. Vegas did pull away in this one with it being 4-1 at one point. Toronto showed a little bit of pushback, but Vegas comes through, especially the captain, Mark Stone. I swear to God, my Nunna skates faster than this guy, but he is still one of the smartest wingers in the NHL. He gets 2 goals on the night. Vegas wins the Marner Bowl 6-3. Quiet night for Marner himself, but he doesn't care. He'll take the 2 points and give the double bird to the Leafs organization on the way out. Then we go to Chicago, where it's the Kucherov show. First, he scored the lone goal for Tampa in regulation to tie the game 1-1, and it would stay that way all the way until the shootout. The crowds are loving booing superstars tonight. They are booing Kucherov before even taking the shot, and look at that smirk. He knows what's coming next. He steps right in and buries, only to shush the crowd right after. That is some good stuff. Tampa wins in a shootout.
Yeah, that's type stuff I like.
In a row. They're now 9-0-1 in their last 10. Let's go to Dallas, where them and the Blues are tied 2-2 with a minute left, and the RoboCop, Jason Robson, picks this puck out of traffic and fires that puppy top bunk for the late game winner. Only McDavid, McKinnon, and now Robertson have 30 goals on the season.
I was about to say that. I knew that was coming.
Saw that and said, yeah, we don't need them. Meanwhile, the Avs look like a completely different team as of late. They go down 3-0 to Philly. Because they're Colorado, they come all the way back to tied and then proceed to allow 4 goals in the third. What is going on in Colorado? Owen Tippett, leave a Tippett on the doorstep, gets a hat trick for Philly.
I heard they got injuries too, though, also.
Beat the Avs 7-3. In Calgary, they initiated the tank earlier this week by trading Rasmus Anderson, and guys are getting creative to hit the showers early here. Watch Adam Klapka picks up a 10-minute misconduct for this little stick tap to Tom Wilson on the shoulder while he's on the bench. You can't do that, and I don't think you want to do that. You're just poking the bear there. Caps come out with the dub with Logan Thompson being a wall. At least he start for Team Canada in the Olympics with all the drama and injuries in the crease there. Vancouver is also trying to out-tank Calgary, even though Elias Pettersson is full-on playing goalie here with the empty net. This guy drops into the butterfly and does everything to keep the puck out. Too bad it's all for naught as the Devils win 5-4 to try and escape their own hellhole that they built earlier in this season. And out of nowhere, too, it seems like the Ducks have found their mojo mojo again. They win their 6th in a row against Seattle, which isn't good for San Jose, but Macklin Celebrini is making me a full-on believer in the 2026 Sharks Cup prophecy.
My boy.
Another 2-goal game. He becomes the second youngest active player to reach 50 career goals behind only Sidney Crosby. The kid is sick. Nedeljkovic has himself a game as well, stops 28 of 29, and San Jose gets 2 points to stay in that last wild card spot in the West. Now for Saturday, let's go into rapid fire. What a time to be a Buffalo Sabres fan. They spanked the Islanders 5-0 to move 3rd in the Atlantic Division. That led to the Ice Age Bowl between the Mammoth and Preds. Utah's another team right now catching fire. They beat Nashville for their 5th win in a row and are now 8-1 in their last 9 games. This week also just seemed to be like a full-blown FU to Team USA from the snubs. Montreal and Boston in this one, and Cole Caulfield does it again. He's already got 2 goals on the night, and look at this shot. He plucks the ear hair off of Swayman with that ribbon. He gets the hat trick. He is Mr. Saturday Night. Look at these stats this season on a Saturday night.
Ooh. My God.
19 points in 15 games. I guess that still isn't good enough for Team USA, eh? Back and forth she went in this one, but ultimately it is the Geek Squad on the power play. He rifles this puck so hard, nobody knows it's even in except for Geeky himself. Bruins win 4-3, and they get 1 step closer to passing Montreal in the standings. Now, least shocking thing of the day is that the Senators are still having goaltending problems. Reimer lets in this muffin. He allows 4 goals and 19 shots, and the Sens lose 4-1 despite outshooting the Hurricanes 34-19. Their playoff chances may full-on be cooked at this point. The Red Wings also stay red hot too. Big spank into the Jets. They give 5-1. John Gibson had another fantastic night. Seems like since December, he's been one of, if not the best goalie in the league, and it has helped Detroit immensely into looking like they could actually make the playoffs this year. That being said, the defending Cup champs are in desperation mode. They need every point that they can get right now. Brad Marchand, off the injured reserve, comes back and immediately is still a dog for the Florida Panthers. He scored 2 goals in this game, including the game winner over the Wild in OT. Still can't believe Boston said, yeah, you can have him. We don't want him. That left 2 games that were absolute barn burners, and it's fitting to end this week. The first one was between the Lightning and Blue Jackets. Jack Greaves starts us off.
No. Pizza delivery.
By throwing one into his own net off his teammate. There you go. That's how you start a game. It was a cookie night for everyone. Kucherov had himself a casual 4-point night, but it was overshadowed by Mason Marchment getting a hat trick for himself. The Blue Jackets put up 8 goals against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and to show you how good of a run.
That is wild. Imagine scoring the first goal, putting it in your own goal, and still winning.
Tampa's been on. That is their first regulation loss in 16 games.
Wait,
Columbus
what?
And Tampa's been on. The Blue Jackets put up 8 goals against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and to show you how good of a run Tampa's been on, that is their first regulation loss in 16 games. Columbus, on the other hand, has won 6 of their last 7 with their new head coach, Rick Bowness. Finally, that brings us to what might be the game of the week. Oilers versus Washington. The Capitals are held almost the entire period without a shot until they score on their first shot with 30 seconds left. And then underrated story for the Caps, too, is Justin Sorda. He is randomly on a tear right now. He gets his 8th goal in his last 11 games. That means Ingram ends up getting yanked, and in goes Shanghai Tristan Jarry. Then we see the start of the Evan Bouchard show. He gets a hattie as a defenseman. First hat trick for an Oilers defenseman in 20 years, but the Oilers are still down 5-4. So net empty, you call in Shaq Hyman. Just always gets the job done in the paint. He gets a stick on it to tie this game and send it to OT, where McDavid, of course, finishes the job. You want to talk about cookie night? How about the stat lines here? McDavid, 5 points on the night, and that was overshadowed by Bouchard, who had 6 points as a defenseman, 3 goals, 3 assists. What a game to end a wild week of hockey. So, who surprised you? Who pissed you off in Week 16 of the NHL season? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see any of our past breakdowns or recaps, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't.
I was wondering about that. I thought McDavid had a hat trick when I watched that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those post notifications. Peaceful, stay positive, stay disciplined. Always, always, always kind.